Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia Triolo. Welcome to Cooking with Friends and welcome to my kitchen. Today, we're going to make a lentil soup for you, something that I feel like is a real comfort food. And to learn how to make something like this for February when it's cold and dreary and you're tired of winter, I think that could be one of the best things that you could make. For me, it's my ultimate comfort food, and it's pretty simple to do. What we're going to do today is I have my soup pot here ready to go. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, just a couple of tablespoons. And then I'm going to begin cooking my vegetables. Here, I already have the onions chopped up in this bowl, and in this bowl, I have carrots and celery ready to go. So I'm using about 1.5 medium-sized onions, and in this bowl, I have 3 carrots and 3 pieces of celery, stalks of celery are already chopped and ready to go. So this is called a mirepoix. And it's a real basic way to start a soup. These are known as aromatics. So really what I want to do is build some layers of flavor in here. So I'm going to start with these. I'm going to turn on my oven. Or my stovetop, I should say, and get the oil heated up. And then I'm going to add my onions into the pot, as well as my carrots and celery. I'm going to put this aside, grab a spoon, and give these a stir. So I want to saute these until the vegetables are a little bit soft. The onions are translucent. I'm not looking to brown anything here right now. And this will take a few minutes to get going. And once that happens, I'm going to add my garlic, which I've already minced. I just chopped it on the cutting board. And the next ingredient that I'll add after that is a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You can use whole tomatoes too, canned tomatoes, just break them up. Sometimes it's nice to have those chunks of tomato in with your soup. But right now I'm using a can of crushed tomatoes. So my onions and celery and carrots are cooking, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of time. And I guess one of the things I want to point out is that, this is a soup. So you can add different things that you like. You're not going to ruin it for sure. And while this is cooking, I'm going to get my lentils ready. So here I have a pound of lentils that I spread out onto a cookie sheet just so I can kind of look through them, make sure there aren't any stones or dirt or anything like that. This is something that I would recommend doing with any kind of dried beans that you're going to use. Every now and then you'll find something that you may not want to put in your soup. I think you can hear my vegetables sauteing, so I'm going to give them a stir. And here I have just a small colander that I'm going to take the lentils and put them in so that I can rinse them. So we'll do that now while that's cooking. And I'll give them a quick rinse under the faucet. So I think those are great. My veggies are sauteing nicely. And now to this mixture, I'm going to add my garlic. Give that a stir. Just for about 30 seconds, that's all you need. People that have taken classes with me before know that one of my pet peeves is when you're reading a recipe and they tell you to saute the onions and the garlic together. Don't do that. You want to add the garlic after the onions are sauteed. It burns very fast, and there's nothing worse than burnt garlic, in my opinion. So I'm giving that a stir. And then right now I'm going to add some liquid. These are the tomatoes. And now you can hear that everything's quieted down. Take my spatula to get every last bit. And just give that a stir. Now, the next thing I want to add is some chicken stock. I like to use the chicken stock, but you can make this vegetarian by adding vegetable stock if you prefer, or even water. I just feel like the chicken stock gives it a little more flavor, a little more protein. So we're going to add, probably going to take about 1.5 quarts, maybe 2 quarts. And then I'm going to add my lentils into the pot. Great. So now what I'm going to do is just let this cook. It's probably going to take about 40 to 50 minutes for the lentils to soften up and get soft enough that they're not crunchy when you eat them. You're going to need to keep an eye on it because the lentils will absorb a lot of the liquid, and so you want to make sure that you don't leave it unattended. And then once you feel like the lentils are cooked, you can add, I like to add spinach to it, just another way to make this a little healthier. And but you don't have to use spinach. You could use kale if you prefer, or chard if you prefer. Any nice green will work really well in it. So I'm going to kind of pretend that this is already cooked, and I'm going to add my spinach. So I like to use the baby spinach because it comes triple washed and I don't have to clean it. And I just want to add this into the soup until it wilts, and then you're ready to serve it. So we're going to add this now. This is about 5 ounces. This large box is actually a 10-ounce box, so I'm only going to use half. Or I should say I used the other half before to make another batch of the soup. I'm just going to stir that in, and I'm going to cook it until it wilts. Then once the soup is done, of course, we're gonna taste it to make sure that their salt and pepper is correct. You always want to taste for seasoning. I don't like to add the salt too early in this dish, just because I want to make sure that the beans are softened enough and everything's cooked well and the flavor's nice. So, like I said, I'm going to let this go until the lentils are cooked through. And then I'm going to add some parsley. Which I have here. And I'm just going to chop this. I'm using fresh Italian parsley, the flat-leafed parsley, which has much more flavor than the curly parsley. And it doesn't have to be too finely chopped. And then that's ready to go. So as soon as my soup is ready, I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. I'm going to add the parsley at the very end. I don't want to cook the parsley, so it adds a nice freshness to your dish. And then I'll be ready to serve it. So there we go. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'm going to let this go. And I want to show you what the finished product looks like. And here I have a bowl of the soup that I made earlier today, so I could show you it done, and so that we don't have to wait 50 minutes for this batch to be completed. So I like to serve this with a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, just grated over the top. As much or as little as you like. I think that looks good. I'll show you. So there we have the Parmesan Reggiano, and let me do a little bit more because I think I was out of frame. And the other thing I like to do is just add at the end, before I'm going to serve it, just a touch of olive oil over the top. And that's it. So I think that this makes a really great lunch if you serve it with a nice loaf of sourdough bread, or the oatmeal bread if you made it from the last video that we showed. So this is one way to serve it, just as the soup itself. You can see it's pretty thick. You can always thin it out with more water or more broth. The other way I really like to serve this soup is over pasta as a sauce. So for dinner, I might cook up some pasta and just use the lentil soup as a sauce over it, which is really delicious, really good for you. The one great thing about this soup is that it freezes really well. So making this soup with a pound of lentils, you're going to have a nice large pot full. And you can freeze it either in portion-sized containers, which is what I usually do, so I can grab some for lunch, or and also some for dinner on those nights when I just don't have time to cook. So another nice way to serve it is also over rice. I've done that many times as well. So there you have it, the lentil soup, ready to go, especially on these cold evenings in February when it's dreary and cold and you need something to warm you up. I think this is the perfect thing. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much to the Friends of the Frelinghuysen Arboretum for putting these programs on. And I need to mention that, you know, if you're not a friend of the Arboretum, please join. Everybody needs more friends. So thanks for joining me. Take care. Stay safe. See you next time.